And I'm just guessing by that battery you lugged up the staircase because you are trying to stay in shape.
It's from your car, Lou.
I took the stairs this morning, not the elevator.
That's what I
it was
understand.
broken.
Apparently, he's trying to get us charged up this morning.
There you go.
Oh.
That would do it.
She'll be here all week, folks. Enjoy
That
the
would do
deal.
it.
Maybe, I don't know.
Your day job.
So I'm guessing, I'm just taking a stab in the dark.
Okay,
I'm guessing we're talking batteries.
We're going to talk about batteries, all about batteries today, what goes on, why they fail, and more importantly, something to look at when you're buying a battery.
Oh, really?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. One thing that people need to keep in mind, while it's true that more batteries fail in hot weather than cold weather, we certainly see our fair share of failed batteries as it gets cold, and now's a good time to think about maybe having your battery tested. The average lifespan of a battery in central Iowa is 4 years and 3 months.
Okay.
And people keep that in mind because when we first started having Ron join us on the program here, we mentioned this one of the first shows, and I'm like, time out, 4 years and that's it?
That's it.
And it's hard to believe.
And
because there are batteries when I was growing up that were still in the station wagon from the time I was probably about 9 until I left high school. It was
Oh,
probably
absolutely.
the same battery.
I had a battery in an older car one time. It lasted 12 years.
Yeah.
The car still started fine. The battery tested fine. But what's happened is in today's cars, there's more electronics. I mean, there's stuff that never goes to sleep on your car when you turn it off.
That's true, too. Yeah.
We used to, not have, computers and digital clocks and remote starts and all this stuff on cars. That stuff stays awake. It's waiting for a signal, so it's constantly, creating a drain on the battery.
Do some vehicles have more than one battery now because of all the electronics?
They do, especially some of the higher end vehicles. We've got a Bentley in the shop right now that's got two batteries. Yeah, one in each corner of the trunk, and one's a main battery, and then the other one's to offset and help run the electronics.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
Mercedes. Some of the Mercedes have two batteries. They got a smaller one up front and one in the back.
Are they the compact ones? Yeah, I was asking about
exactly.
that.
Yeah, the one in the Bentley, the small one's about this size, and then the main one's even bigger.
Wow.
So, and guess what? It's in because the battery goes dead.
So it needs it.
Well, it doesn't need a battery, but it's got an issue.
How old of a Bentley is it?
It's a 2010.
Wow.
It's just about the threshold here. I'm going to take a stab in the dark, saying maybe the battery might be on the verge of going bad.
We're not sure. We'll find out today.
Fine. Let us know. Remember that next week.
Yeah, well, I might keep it a couple of weeks. So sometimes you have to road test them a long time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You want to be able to make sure that
properly.
starts. But if you've got a car that was even built like in 2009 or 2010, it's getting close to where it may need a battery because the 2014s are out. And so just keep that in mind because batteries don't always give the warning that they used to, with the slow cranking and stuff. I mean, they'll just go dead. A cell will fail and it won't start.
Now, you mentioned 4 years, 3 months, but that's the average. That doesn't mean that's the minimum time.
Correct.
It could break down a lot sooner than that.
I've got a 2010 vehicle and the battery failed at 2 years.
Okay.
So how do we test a battery? Do we lick our fingers and
exactly? Yeah, you kind of do like this.
Lick your fingers, Jack. You use your tongue.
Oh.
You got to have a really long tongue.
So Simmons comes
exactly.
over and he checks it for you.
No, a battery test is relatively simple. Some places, most places will just do it for free. If you show up, or they do it like whenever we change oil on a car, we always run a battery test on it. Right now, as we sit here, I mean, Jason, when you go to leave today, you expect your car to start.
Yeah.
And if the battery's failed,
I just had it in your shop, so I'll call you if it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, blame me, please. But if it doesn't start when you get ready to leave, I mean, your day just went downhill.
Oh yeah.
Now you're trying to find someone to jump it. You're waiting for AAA. There's just a whole lot goes into that. So you're better off just to be proactive and save that headache. But not if, but when you find yourself in need of buying a battery, there's a couple of things that you should know. And Lou, you've seen this for years. Batteries are rated at cold crank amps. Which is how many amps of electricity they can put out at 0 degrees. But an even more important rating is what we call the reserve capacity. And on the top of this battery, you can see they call it the CCA, the cold crank amps, are 650. But below that, you see where it says 115. Above that, it's listed as RC. RC is reserve capacity.
Okay.
and the reserve capacity on this is 115. So, you know, to put it in terms people can usually understand, think of this as a water heater.
Okay.
650 is the degrees, 115 is the gallons.
Okay.
So you can have a small water heater and have 200-degree temperature water, and if you're in a family of 5 and you're the third guy to get in the shower, you ran out.
Right.
Okay.
So you can have 650 cold crank amps, but if you got low reserve capacity, it's not going to crank it long enough to start the car. So you want to look at the reserve capacity or the gallons of this water heater when you buy it.
Okay.
And there's a direct correlation. If you look at an inexpensive battery, it'll usually have high cold crank amps, but low reserve capacity. Reserve capacity will be 70, 80, 90, where a quality battery is going to have 100 plus. I mean, I've seen 1,000 amp batteries with 60 minutes of reserve capacity.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and they're on sale for $69.95.
Right.
But we've all been taught the cold crank amps. That's what we
the
look
important
at.
thing, right?
Yeah, it doesn't even, you know, it just says RC. What's RC? Is that a serial number or something? I mean, who knows? But the reserve capacity is more important. I mean, buy something that's got the same cold crank amps that it did, you know, when it was new from the factory, but get as much reserve capacity. Get the gallons in the water heater, not the temperature.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
Just something to keep
No
in
idea.
mind.
Yeah. That's-
And a good quality battery, what's in the average cost of a good quality battery as opposed to some that you might see in a flyer for $39.95? I saw that a couple weeks ago.
Really? You saw a $39.95
battery? Yeah.
Better get two.
Yeah. You're gonna need it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. No, a good quality battery is going to run you probably between $110 and $150.
Okay.
I mean, for a good quality one. And warranty is the other thing to keep in mind. You know, while we're talking about quality, is you know, batteries will have like a 5-year warranty or a 6-year, 7-year warranty. The warranty is what they call prorated. You want to look at the free replacement.
How long a period of time that is.
Exactly. You know, some are 12 months, some are 18 months. I think this one's 3 years. So if it fails the first 3 years, you get a battery for free.
That's
and then
good.
they prorate it after that. Prorating basically means you rented the battery. You paid for the amount of time that you use it. And where you run into an issue with that, usually around the 4 or 5 year mark of a proration, it's cheaper to buy a battery than have it prorated, because the proration isn't calculated off what you paid for the battery. It's calculated off an inflated retail price that the manufacturer uses. So they might say, this is a $200 battery, and you had it for 2.5 years, so you owe us $100. So the proration isn't always that great of a warranty. Look for the free replacement, because if they build a quality battery, they can put a longer free replacement on
Okay,
it.
now one more thing about batteries. There was a time when there was probably, I think, 2 or 3 main manufacturers of batteries in the country, and they just put different labels on these things. Is that still the case nowadays?
That is definitely, you know, still the case.
Okay.
You know, we've got Johnson Controls, we've got East Penn, and there is about 3, and then there's a lot of overseas manufacturers as well. But also keep in mind, you know, it's kind of like oil. You know, Valvoline makes oil for retailers and other manufacturers. It's not the same oil. And so if you were to take, let's say this battery was made by East Penn and another battery was made by East Penn, if you were to take and cut them apart, you know, this might have more plates in it.
Okay.
You know, even though the box is the same, the box is always going to look the same with a different label. You know, some have different insulators between the plate. I mean, some will have, you know, near cardboard for insulators. So, I mean, go look at the reserve capacity,
Use that for a
the
guide.
free replacement, and use that as a guide for quality, not the sales pitch that, well, these are made by.
Okay.
Okay, well, it's made by, but it's made to your lower quality specs, which is
So
why it's
that's
cheaper.
the point I was trying to make.
Exactly.
Okay,
What's
Exactly.
the proper way to dispose of an old one?
Like
an old
this.
battery.
Oh, just, yeah.
Damn, you've been doing the abs and stuff. Yeah, see, it's gone.
That's pretty good.
You can dig a hole in the backyard. No, usually the batteries will have a core charge, and they'll go back to the manufacturer. And like this particular battery is made by a company called East Penn, or also known as Deca. And they actually recycle 100% of everything that's in this battery.
break it down.
They do. They recycle the plastic, the lead, the acid, and there will usually be a $10 or $15 charge if, for some reason, you want to take your old battery home and, you know, put it on the mantle or whatever.
Just let them take care of it, and it'll be recycled.
Yep.
Okay,
Perfect.
Or we could just let Ron take care of it.
Or if you've got, for some reason you've got some old batteries, in your garage or something like that. I mean, if you want to bring them by to us, we'll make sure that they go back to somebody that does recycle them.
Good idea.
Great.
Good idea. Well done again, young man.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
You're ready to buy a battery, aren't you, Jason?
I am.
Whether you need it or not.
Let's get going.
Here you go. It's lightweight. We'll be right back. This is a great day.
Yeah.